Ladies and gentlemen, this is not hyperbole. I'm not joking. This is the actual headline. CNBC, December 26, 2019. Pelosi's best move might be to keep impeachment in her pocket and not send it to the Senate. You have to understand something, okay? Democrats, media, liberals, oftentimes many progressives, every element of the Democratic Party, every faction on the left finds some way to spin a defeat. So when Bernie Sanders is obviously getting cheated once again, and Mike Bloomberg enters the contest to pave the way for Clinton in 2020, oh yes, she's going to be nominee. People who are Bernie Sanders supporters say, this is proof that they're frightened of us. Like, no, they're not frightened of you. In fact, it's an insult. It's an insult. Bloomberg entering the contest shows that he's actually not frightened at all. That's an insult. You spend years and years talking about, okay, we're going to go up against the 1%. We're going to fight the 1%. Oh, what's that, Bloomberg? Oh, great. So that's an insult right there. Anyway, the Steele dossier found nothing. But Trump didn't work with Russia, but he invited, and he was eager to accept Russian interference. So they always check, Clinton lost, but she won the popular vote. Everything's a Pyrrhic victory. They lose more than they win, obviously, but they spin a small type of victory into this, grandiose triumph, when in reality they've really lost. The popular vote actually undermines the whole Russian hacking narrative. But here, Pelosi's best move might be to keep impeachment in her pocket and not send it to the Senate. The House Democratic leadership has wanted no part of impeachment since the blue wave. Okay. Speaker Nancy Pelosi made this explicit, that didn't hit the Senate, but whatever. Speaker Nancy Pelosi made this explicit earlier this year in an interview with the Washington Post magazine. I'm not for impeachment, she said. Translated, what she meant was, in this political environment, impeachment will never be bipartisan. Well, Trump didn't withhold military assistance because he wanted to interfere in the 2020 election because he was worried about Biden. Biden is only number one because everyone else is deemed unelectable. Bernie Sanders, for example, could have won in 2016, but they cheated him and then blamed Russia. Now you have Elizabeth Warren specifically there to cut Bernie's movement, which is now a bowel movement, into two. And then nobody else is even feasible. And people have dropped out, and you just have Biden. You always just had Biden. There wasn't a field of 20 that people could choose from. Oh, well, what's your flavor? Everything's great. Pick your preferred candidate. Everyone had the same. What was the difference between Amy Klobuchar and Senator Cory Booker and Biden? What are the differences? How different are they? Nobody really knows. Same foreign policy. Same Russia did it mentality. But here, translated, what she meant was, in this political environment, impeachment will never be bipartisan. It will never get 67 votes, aye votes in the Senate. So why put 25 to 35 vulnerable Democratic House members in marginal or pro-Trump districts in harm's way? Okay, so here you go. Why engage in a process that will enrage the president's supporters and give them a rallying cry, witch hunt for his re-election campaign, which is true? Impeachment put a lot at risk and promised little, if any, political reward. The Washington Post magazine interview was the first of a number of attempts, both publicly and private, by Pelosi and House Democratic leadership to shut down the impeachment groundswell. A key piece of the president's re-election effort is to make the Democratic Party's left wing the face of the Democratic Party. It is. But, engaging the squad. Okay, Trump miscalculated in thinking that in the end, Pelosi could and would shut it down. What? Why? Legislature go. Why would they care? He doesn't really care. He doesn't care what they do. Trump actually didn't miscalculate. He actually doesn't care what they do. Trump miscalculated in thinking that in the end, Pelosi could and would shut it down. We have no evidence that Trump withheld military assistance because he was afraid of Biden. There's a lot more evidence saying that the weapons deals that countries got when they gave to the Clinton Foundation was because of that they were bribing the Secretary of State, Madam Secretary, that 85 donors who gave $156 million into the Clinton Foundation met with Madam Secretary because it was a bribe. $10 billion raised in Haiti, lost. Somehow the people of Haiti did not receive the $10 billion. That was all part of the Clinton Foundation focusing on networking and money and money. When they raised $10 billion, the rebuttal, I got into this hilarious, not hilarious, but this debate with a journalist, a contributor to Politico, and he's like, oh, I've been to Haiti and I know. And what do you think? That they just pocketed the money? No, the Clinton Foundation benefits from raising money. The mere act of raising money, they benefit. They raised $10 billion off an earthquake that was, a tragedy to millions of people in Haiti. They raised $10 billion. I interviewed Haitian-born journalist Daddy Cherry, and she is brilliant. She stated that the people of Haiti only got 3% of the money. And the rest of the $10 billion, no one knows where it went. But if you now suddenly know the CFOs and the people in charge of donating millions upon millions of dollars across through all different corporations, wealthy individuals, philanthropic organizations. If you're the Clinton Foundation subsidiaries and you helped raise that $10 billion, it didn't go anywhere, but you benefited as a money laundering organization just through the networking alone. So now you know all the decision makers. Now you know all the people for the eventual 2016 campaign where she raised $1.2 billion. But if you don't believe that, okay, UBS gave money into the Clinton Foundation. They got direct beneficial treatment with the IRS. Boeing gave money into the Clinton Foundation. They got hooked up with a multi-billion-dollar deal in Russia. So the point is, you cannot prove. Democrats say, well, where's the proof? Well, she deleted 30,000 emails. She used a private server alongside top secret and special access program intelligence that nobody knows how they got on this private server, but they do know she had deleted emails. And she had 85 donors who gave $156 million, who then met with her. Then they say, well, you can't prove anything. Well, there's William D. Campbell, an FBI informant, who stated that, Russian lobbyists were bragging about their influence over the Clinton Foundation. But the true pay-to-play quid pro quo is the money into the Clinton Foundation and then beneficial treatment. They say you can't prove anything. That is a pattern of behavior where the foundation is like a middleman. It's so obvious. That is a pattern of behavior. Rudy Giuliani stated there's already enough in terms of the pattern of behavior and in terms of what they have in terms of an impeachment witness. Okay. The impeachment witnesses, it was all their hearsay and gossip. This man, William D. Campbell, said he has firsthand knowledge. None of the impeachment witnesses have firsthand knowledge. William D. Campbell said he had firsthand knowledge of the Clinton Foundation pay-to-play schemes regarding Uranium One, where Russian lobbyists were bragging about their influence over the Clinton Foundation. He testified before Congress. This is in The Hill and other publications. They say, well, where's the evidence? It's just his word. Well, it's just the word of Sondland and Bill Taylor and all these other impeachment witnesses who say they heard from a phone conversation. They heard Trump's voice through emanating from the phone. They heard from others. The only thing that Sondland, the EU ambassador, stated was that President Trump wanted no quid pro quo. Marie Yovanovitch, the other ambassador, stated, President Obama's administration gave talking points. I just sneezed, so just sneezed. Okay. Oh my goodness, I wanted to hold that sneeze in, but anyway. So you have one person saying, "Well, yeah, Dr. Fiona Hill. Oh, the Ukraine actually picked Ukrainian officials actually wanted Clinton." And then you have a litany of people who will have testified, or at least signed sworn affidavits saying that Biden. This is according to Rudy Giuliani. He has sworn affidavits from the prosecutor who was fired. Well, they used the Comey memos. Why won't they use the Shokin sworn affidavit? Of course, because it paints them in a negative light. The person who was fired, along with others, state that Biden was only thinking about Hunter. This is according to Rudy Giuliani. So the misconduct is there. Clinton is obviously going to become nominee. This is a political machine. These are political games. Okay, nine times out of 10, the media spin that you hear from the mainstream is not happening organically. This is not just like, gosh, Biden's number one now. But, or it just isn't going to happen. So in 2015, below in the pinned comment, NPR quoted me. I said that Clinton wasn't going to win. She couldn't win swing states. Nate Silver stated that it was at 538. 538 stated that it was their emphatic position that Trump wouldn't become GOP nominee. The article's below in the pinned comment. NPR quoted me. There's no way anybody can say, oh, well, that was in 2015. I said she would lose swing states. She was unelectable. I called the 2016 election. She's still unelectable, but all of this is done for Madam Secretary. Once Clinton comes in, you think that people are going to be like, oh, no, she's not going to. No. They're definitely going to rally around Clinton. But here, this is why you're seeing some things like this. Like, don't be surprised if she executes the congressional equivalent of a pocket veto. It's a smart play, and she's nobody's fool. How do they spin this? It's a smart play, and she's nobody's fool. Yeah, Pelosi, what she engaged in was just, it was absolutely. This is so. If AOC is okay with Pelosi's pocket veto, then her massive social media following will follow. Media following will follow along. So they're calling it a pocket veto. This is hilarious. So they just wanted to insult Trump. Essentially, all it was insulting Trump. Pelosi's best option would be a pocket veto. Legislation leadership, of course, can't execute a pocket veto. That's an executive function, but something very much like a pocket veto would serve Pelosi and her party's interest well. This is so hilarious. So they would say, well, similar to what a pocket veto actually is, she could just impeach the president, but not send it to a trial, because we know that it's not going to be fair anyway. And McConnell is he's just going to sit on it and acquit the president, and it's going to be a loss. So just hold on to this pocket veto equivalent of impeachment. Don't be surprised if she executes the congressional equivalent of a pocket veto. It's a smart play, and she's nobody's fool. Yeah, Pelosi's not. Everything Pelosi's done has been foolish. This has been a complete and utter debacle. This has been an absolute loss. And now they're saying, you know what? Keep the impeachment. Don't even give it to Trump. And there'll be another controversy that'll harm Trump. This is why nobody takes impeachment seriously, because it's a phone conversation that can't be proved. That they can't prove that he withheld assistance. There's nothing. There's no documents. There's no order from President Trump or statement or quote or email where he says, I'm worried about Biden, and we're going to interfere in the election for Biden. It's all assumptions, but the assumptions and the quid pro quo and the obvious scenarios of the Clinton Foundation. Money flowed into the Clinton Foundation. Beneficial treatment took place. Democrats don't put two and two together. That's actually pretty obvious what took place there. You don't need one of Clinton's deleted yoga emails. With Trump, it just so happened that he uses the same reasoning. Well, there was corruption. We wanted to make sure the money went to the appropriate individuals, the appropriate people within the Ukraine government. They don't believe that, but they believe Biden when he says, well, I had to fire the prosecutor because he wasn't investigating corruption. Well, which one is it? You believe Biden in terms of corruption in the Ukraine, but you don't believe Trump when he says, well, I'm withholding military assistance, not because, and they got the assistance anyway, not because we're afraid of Biden, but because of the corruption. They believe Biden, they don't believe Trump, and they certainly believe Clinton that everything was above board. And all of these different countries and wealthy individuals and corporations just gave out of altruistic reasons, but not because of personal gain. Give me your thoughts below. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel right